Hey everyone, this is Kim McLaughlin and we are here with Food Freedom Live. The video, oh, there we are. Hi everyone, this is Kim McLaughlin. We are live. This is day 2 of Food Freedom Live. We are getting ready with food freedom, peace with food, and I am excited. We had a great day yesterday. This is day 2. Day 2, we're talking about emotional eating. Day 1, yesterday, you can watch the video. It's up. I put it in all kinds of places. I've been sending it out over anybody who signed up for the live. You're getting it over your email. Also, it's live in this in my Facebook page. And yesterday what we talked about was the dieting mindset and whether it's good or not, and that how we're kind of all caught with it. I actually was just talking with somebody earlier about the dieting mindset and how we grew up with it, and it feels like it just kind of exists all around us. And what we talked about yesterday was how to release that dieting mindset, and even more than that, why it doesn't work and how it keeps us caught in this spiral of restriction, binge, shame, restriction, binge, shame. And it goes around and around and around. And that is what we talked about yesterday. And I just encourage you to listen to that. And I'm so happy for all of you that were live with us. Please feel free and please like this video. Give me some comments about how it's going and what you've been learning and what you've been thinking about. I really love hearing that. Or you can email me at info@feedyoursoulunlimited.com and give me some feedback. Let me know what you're getting out of this live. And I want you to be sure to stay till the end. I have a special offer. This all can feel overwhelming, and like, if I'm talking about getting rid of the dieting mindset, then what in the heck do I do instead if since we've all been in this kind of bombardment, as I talked about yesterday, of diet after diet after diet, and we don't know what else to do. We literally don't know what to do. So if we say, it goes from restrict at the top of the circle to binge to shame to restrict, well, how do we get off of that cycle? How do we get off of that? And that's what I talk about with people every day. That's what I do, is help you get off of that and into what we call intuitive eating. So today I kind of was feeling like I wanted to get a little guidance, and I used my friend Erin Sum, and I'll put the link to her stuff in the chat. And I think this is probably going to be backwards, but this is Bold Confident. It's called Bold Confident You Unleashed, and it's Cards for Transformation. Erin Sum, S-U-M-M. And she has this fabulous set of cards that I love bringing out, and I shuffle them and ask what is the guidance, or what do I need to know for the day, or what do I need to do for the day. And I love doing that because it keeps me on track for my life and just kind of give me some guidance. So I thank Erin for that, for these cards, and I love them. And like I said, I'll share them in the links in the comments later on. So I asked, what do we need to know? What do we all need to learn today? And this was the card I got, which is a beautiful flower, and it says, I am bold. I am bold. And one of the things I love is all of the pictures that are on these cards. Erin took these pictures herself, and they're just gorgeous, and they have a thought for the day. So our thought for the day is, I am bold. And what she says on the back is affirmation. Repeat this affirmation throughout your day. I am a bold woman, or I am getting bolder every day. I love that. I am getting bolder every day. And you all that are attending this live, you're getting bolder by choosing to be here and choosing to start something different, to learn something different. So I am bold. That is our thought for the day. When we're talking about emotional eating, today is day 2. It's about emotional eating. A lot of times people will say, I don't think I'm an emotional eater. And then they'll describe what they do, and it's like, yeah, you kind of have emotional eating as a problem. And And I think it becomes confusing because we think that if we're an emotional eater, that means, oh, I notice I have this feeling and then I notice that I eat. And it's not that simple. I think it becomes much more kind of ingrained in how we live our life, and we just eat for emotional reasons, but we don't realize it. So I got a list here. I'm going to read I'm going to read them. The list of some ideas of how do you know if you're an emotional eater. First, you eat when you're not hungry. And that is can be that to me is the starting spot for emotional eating, is eating when you're not hungry. So that's the first one. How do you know if you're an emotional eater? Eat when you're not hungry. Using food to make you feel good. Using food to make you feel good. The third one is using food in situations where you feel uncomfortable. Fourth is eating to overfull. Fifth is feeling ashamed when you overeat. Do you feel ashamed when you overeat? And the sixth one is feeling bad about your body. There are a lot more questions that I have, but those are some of the big ones that I thought I wanted to address today. And any one of them by themselves, that you eat for emotional reasons every once in a while and it's no big deal, you don't feel ashamed, it's not a problem. What I'm talking about, and the people that I work with, resonate with all those six, and then even more. And what it is putting together that more often than not, I eat to overfull. More often than not, I don't feel good. Or I have all of those six questions are like, yeah, that's me. And you feel that it's a problem. You feel that it's a problem, and it's important to notice that it's a problem, because then we can start addressing it. And it's a problem that is ongoing. It isn't kind of transient. I know that there are people that have been emotional eating over the pandemic, and there's been a lot of talk about weight gain and emotional eating. Well, there's been a lot of emotions going on, and we've had to kind of figure out how in the world do we manage this new world of the pandemic and feel good. And we do overeat at times to make us feel good. It works. It works to overeat until it works to eat and make you feel good. Yes. And it's not a way to fix the problem. It feels, what I think about is like, it feels good until it doesn't feel good. It feels good until you feel worse. So you have this temporary fix that's actually not going to fix what the initial problem is, which is whatever emotionally is going on with you, right? We eat because of something's going on inside of us. We eat to overfull, but if we don't make the connection back to what led us to overeat, it's no good, you won't be able to figure out anything different. This is why diets don't work, is because they just identify that just eat this amount of food, just eat this kind of food, eat this many calories, and then you'll be fixed. And what happens is when you stop that restriction, right, then we binge because we have feelings, we have things going on that feel sometimes out of control, and we want to figure out how to fix it. So I'm here to think about, or to help you figure out, are you an emotional eater, and then what in the heck do we do about it? What in the heck do we do about it? So let's start with what to do. The first step I always think is you got to notice that you're eating for emotional reasons. So it is, I'm eating to overfull. I'm eating when I'm not hungry. I eat and I feel ashamed. I hate the way my body looks. I eat in secret. I don't want people to know that I eat. I want to hide it. Those are all reasons that we eat, and then we have to track it back to what are the feelings. So first, it's noticing that you're eating for reasons other than hunger, right? It's for other reasons. Eating when you're hungry, even if you have an emotion, that's fine. If you're eating when you're hungry, able to stop when you feel satisfied, rock on. That's all good. We're talking about when it becomes a problem, right? So notice that you're eating for emotional reasons, and then acknowledge it and go, I'm eating for reasons other than hunger. Something's going on. I'm eating for reasons other than hunger more often than not. I wonder what that means. And then we start, what it is the way I look at it and talk about it with people is like, you have this instance of overeating, and so tracking it back to go, well, what was happening before that? And how am I feeling? And that becomes having that check-in. I go to, oh, honey, what's going on? I talk about it in terms of being that good parent or that good aunt or that good cousin or good friend who says, honey, something's going on. What is it? And that we do this to ourselves. It's like this way of reparenting or being that helper for ourselves and going, what's going on? You're eating to overfull and you don't feel good right now. What's going on? What's been happening? And what's interesting to me is that when we take that moment of feeling bad about overeating, we track it back to the food, and then we track it back to the emotions. That's where the power is. Because what diets do is they just take care of the eating part and just say, just don't do that. Well, I'm saying, let's notice it and then figure out what it's about and do something about what it's about. So it's really connecting to what happened before the overeating happened, connecting to those feelings that were happening before. And I kind of take it kind of simply. There are hundreds and hundreds of feelings that I can give you a long list about feelings. And I like to think about sad, mad, glad, anxious, bored, lonely, tired. So those are ones I think about. Overwhelmed, frustrated are often a little offshoot of anxiety. So I think, or kind of go back into the asking myself, how am I feeling? What's going on? And what I want to challenge you is to really use a feeling word. I feel that would be more of a thought. I feel that I'm uncomfortable. No, it's like, I feel uncomfortable. Okay, so you felt uncomfortable, and that led you to overeat. And then we go back to that, rather than what do I need to do about the food, because we can take care of that as a diet. But I tell you, the power and the kind of integration of doing it differently comes when we go, oh, it's because I felt anxious. Well, what's going on about that? And what do I need about the anxiety? Right? Rather than what do I need about the food? What do I need to do about the feeling? What do I need to do about the feeling? This is where we get tripped up, because we're not doing things, or we're trying to do something. We're trying to put food in the place of caretaking about the feeling, right? The feeling came first, then the food. So if we're using food to take care of feelings, that's a false premise, right? Because food will take care of the feelings for a short period of time until it doesn't. So I explain it to people that I work with the idea that you have the thought about the food and then you eat, right? You put them close together, the thought about the food, then you eat, and then out a little further comes the moment where you feel upset, right? The moment where you feel upset, and from you have this buffer of a little bit of time. Sometimes it's a minute, 2 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, where you feel fine, right? That's that buffer point. And then after you feel upset, then all that point beyond is where you feel angry with yourself, ashamed, overwhelmed. And what happens is that when we don't address the feeling that started this cascade of overeating, once we're at that point of not feeling good about what we just ate or what we did, or feeling angry about that we might gain weight, all that point after, we feel upset. What happens is that it literally makes the feeling that started that cascade of overeating, it literally makes that feeling 10 times, right? Because we haven't addressed the first thing. So if we address what happened at first, we wouldn't have that whole progression of feeling worse about ourselves. So notice that you're eating for emotional reasons, acknowledge it, and then go, what is the feeling, honey? What's going on? How are you feeling? And that then helps you to then move into, okay, I'm having this feeling. What is this feeling trying to tell me? What is this feeling trying to tell me? What is this anxiety trying to tell me? The anxiety is trying to tell me that I'm anxious about this, about going live on Facebook, right? I feel a little nervous about going live on Facebook, right? And so if I chose to overeat over it, that wouldn't help my feelings about anxiety about going live on Facebook. So then, instead of the eating, what do? We have to have a way to take care of those feelings, right? What are some things? So I felt nervous. I often feel nervous when I go live for a video. I just do. I'm nervous. I call it nervous excited. Nervous excited. I learned that from a person I knew a long time ago who he would go sing, and he said he feels nervous excited. Well, I feel nervous and excited. So what do I do with that nervous excitement? Before I came on, I was kind of, moving my body, because that gets my energy out, that gets the anxiety out. Also, I pulled a card to keep me focused. My I Am Bold card helped me keep focused. That's another tool that I used. I thought about how excited I am to talk with all of you and share this information. I told my husband a little bit ago that I'm going live and how excited I am to share this info. So do you see, I use my wellness toolbox. I use the things that I have in my toolbox to begin to help me lessen the anxiety, right? So then I can come on, and then I won't have an instance later of overeating because I feel anxious, or I felt anxious coming into this live. So if I deal with, get this, if I deal with the feelings first, the likelihood that I'm going to overeat is a lot less because I've dealt with the feelings. Overeating for feelings never helps the feelings in the end. It gives you a nice little buffer, yes, but overall it doesn't help. So what we talk about then is developing what I call this wellness toolbox. And I then pull out for my whatever the feeling is, what's in my toolbox. Today I told you in my toolbox was for my anxiety, I pulled out doing one of my cards. I pulled out being a little, kind of getting some of the energy out. And I pulled out from my toolbox telling somebody that I'm feeling excited and that I'm going live. And so I used those to help lower my anxiety. And I want you to consider today, as we're talking about emotions, to start noticing, are you an emotional eater? Do you meet that criteria of what I talked about? Actually, I'll post it in the chat. I'll post that list of, are you an emotional eater, that list that I just had. I'll post that for you so you can look back over and see if any of those fit for you. So noticing it, acknowledging it, stating what the feeling is, asking what those feelings are trying to tell you, and then what can I do? What can I do? There are a lot of things I find that are easier, and kind of some go-tos. And I'd really like you to start thinking about what could be in my wellness toolbox. What could help me? What do I use? What have I used before when I have feelings? Sometimes it can be taking a walk, telling somebody else, journaling. That's one of my favorites. So there are things that you can do that help lower whatever the feeling is, in order to not overeat over it, because I think we can agree that overeating for a feeling doesn't in the end help the feeling, and actually can make it worse, right? So when we talk about emotions, it's simple, it's just not easy. I love that from the 12 steps. It's simple, it's just not easy. And what happens is that emotions are really one of 6 components of what I call feeding your soul. And we talked about yesterday the physical, which has to do, part of the physical is around dieting and the dieting ideas that we've had. The second component is what we talked about today, which is emotions. The third component is the mental component, which is all of the things that go on inside your head, the negative self-talk, the things that set you up to overeat, the thoughts that set you up to overeat. The fourth is mindfulness, and I'm sorry, not mindfulness, is lifestyle. And lifestyle has to do with your family and vacations and work and play and social, being out in society. So there's a lot of things that go into lifestyle that can affect us in food, right? And then the fifth one is mindfulness, and it's about being in touch with your body and being mindful. And actually, hint, hint, tomorrow we're going to talk about mindfulness, one of the most underutilized tools and components that we can use in order to look at overeating and emotional eating differently. And the sixth component is self-love. Self-love, self-esteem, self-worth, and that kind of sense of how you feel about yourself. So why overeating can feel out of control is because we have those six components. And each one of them, we can look at them individually, but we also have to look at how they come together. And that's what we're talking about in these 3 days of Food Freedom Live. We want to look at each one individually, but then also how do they interact with each other. And I promise you there's a way of doing it. What I know is that when we have a problem with overeating is that we've had the problem for a long time. I was talking with somebody earlier today again about how hard it is for this person was talking about how hard it is for when you start when you're really young, and that you have all these years of emotional eating and overeating and dieting, and to move out of that takes some time, right? It's not a quick fix. It's not something we can do instantly, but there are steps when we follow these six components individually and then how they interact together. We actually can have that food freedom. And so what I want to talk about for just a little bit of time left, if you allow me, is to talk about what then do you do with those six components. And I don't want to leave you guys hanging, because we're talking about these really intense things about food and overeating and emotional eating, and I want you to have a place to deal with it, to look at it differently, to move off of that dieting roller coaster and circle that we've talked about. The diet, the binge, the shame, the diet, the binge, the shame. It goes round and around. Well, how do you pull out of it? Well, I think addressing the six components is the best way to do that. And so I wanted to let you guys know that I have Emotional Eating Solutions is my 8-week self-study course that addresses all the six components. It is a way of looking at the six components in a way that gives you freedom with food and a way to address the areas that lead you to overeat in a way that's manageable and not overwhelming and takes you off of that diet circle. And that's what we all need. We need a way to get out of that. So Emotional Eating Solutions is a way to do that. And it's super affordable, you guys. I was going to raise the price at the beginning of the year, and I didn't, because I knew I was going to do this live, and I didn't want to increase the charge. It will, as the year goes on, we will increase it. But for right now, it's super low cost. It's $197, and it's $197 for 8 weeks self-study, all the six components. And I wanted to tell you is that I was trying to think of what could I do that would make it something that you guys might want even more. And I am going to add a free Q&A call. So if you sign up during these lives, I will give you an hour for everybody who signs up, an hour Q&A call with me. So that is asking your questions. You can ask them live. You can email me if you can't come live. and I'll answer your questions. And you know what I'll do is I'll answer your questions and I'll give you a transcript of it. I'll add that in. That will be able to answer your questions so you can get more freedom with food. And that's really what we're looking for, is to have more freedom with food. And I know that there's a way out. There's a way to have peace with food that doesn't involve dieting. And it helps you feel better about yourself, because seriously, that's what we're all looking for. We're looking at a way to feel better and to move into something different. Move into something different that is not connected to the same old that you've done all these years. That literally, as we talked about yesterday with the dieting mindset, the diet sets you up to do the same thing over and over, expecting different results. But actually what happens is every time you gain more weight. We know this. 90% of diets fail. And what happens is we gain weight. I know that, you know that. So I want to offer something different. Emotional Eating Solutions is the do-it-yourself self-study course that really will help you get in a different group. I'm going to leave the link for Emotional Eating Solutions in the chat. Feel free to sign up. Those of you who sign up will get the bonus of the 1-hour Q&A call with me. And I also want you guys to attend tomorrow. Tomorrow we are going to talk about another component that is the one I don't talk about it very much, and I really thought about that as we were going to do these lives, that I wanted to give you something that is a little different than what we normally talk about. And so tomorrow we're going to talk about mindfulness and literally how mindfulness can move you into having more freedom with food, because when we look at intuitive eating, being mindful and being more present in your body is what gets you there. Those times when we emotionally eat is when we're disconnected to what's really going on in our body, and we're just connected to the emotions, right? So I want to move us into also being really connected with how we can come at food differently, or come to the literally come to the table differently. So please attend tomorrow. It's on the same on my Facebook channel. We'll go live at 12 o'clock Pacific tomorrow for a half hour like we've done today. So your homework for today is start looking at what feelings are leading to eating, leading to overeating, and what is your toolbox? What are some things you can do differently, or that you have done differently? I gave you a lot of suggestions about what you could do and what I've done. So look at, are you eating for emotional reasons? What emotions are they? And what is it trying to tell you? And what can you add in the place of food for those emotions to take care of those emotions, so you then don't need to overeat? It's really doable. It just takes a little time. And I want you to know that one of the benefits about being in the Emotional Eating Solutions self-study course is that it gives you the roadmap to do this. It gives you more of the roadmap. This is a starting spot. Today is a super important starting spot, but I want you to do more, because this has probably existed for a long time, and there's more to be had. So look at that toolbox, see what you can do. I will see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for coming. It is my honor to be with all of you, and I look forward to talking to you tomorrow at 12 o'clock Pacific for Food Freedom Live, day 3. Bye, everyone.